Hello, I'm Shauna Kidd, and I am here with the legendary Miss Joan Myers Brown, who is the founder of the Philadelphia School of Dance Arts and the Philadelphia Dance Company, also known as Philadanco. Thank you, Miss Myers Brown, for joining us today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
So, can you start off by telling us the history of how you founded your company?
The company was founded 10 years after my dancing school. When I started the dance school, the girls that were 6 and 7 years old, they got to be 16 and 17, and they wanted to know what it was I going to do with their training. Sent them to Pennsylvania Ballet, sent them to other schools, and they weren't really welcomed. So they bounced back to me saying that they weren't comfortable, and what could they do with their training? I said, go to New York, go to California, go somewhere. They didn't want to leave home. I think girls weren't leaving home that quickly in the 60s, 70s. And so I said, I better do something with these kids. Let me start a little dance group. Maybe they'll filter away and maybe they will stick around a little long. First group stayed with me 8, 9 years before they started leaving, and we started dancing with the city of Philadelphia on the back of a truck. And then we started dancing in Camden. We thought we were on tour. And it took off from there. We've been around the world and back again.
Okay. Now, that was the dance school. How did you found Philadanco?
No, that was the company.
That was the company.
I started the school when I stopped dancing because I wanted to train some black youngsters, hopefully to give them the opportunity I didn't get, because I wanted to be the world's last great ballerina, and that time it wasn't happening.
Okay. And when was Philadanco, the dance company, founded?
We started the company 10 years after my school. I started the school in 60 and I started the company in 70. So the company is now 45 years old and the school is 55 years. So I say I'm celebrating 100 years.
Wow. Okay. What is the most gratifying part of being founder and creative director or artistic director of your company?
Of Philadanco? Seeing the youngsters that have gone on and who've had successful careers, people that I've influenced that give me credit for what they do with their lives. So it's continually being gratification for having this opportunity to work with youngsters.
And what would you say are some of the challenges to leading a world-renowned organization?
I think the biggest problem I have is fundraising, trying to have the amount of money that's needed to run an organization of color. There are still obstacles as far as funding, presenting, all the things that dance companies do. Organizations of color like Philadanco always are an afterthought, or they have problems giving us their money.
Okay. And so how do you get around that? How are you able to fundraise?
Well, it's something we just do what we do and hope that we can continue to do what we do. Sometimes it's difficult. I say I ride a roller coaster. Sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down, but I'm always riding. Yeah.
So you have an amazing story of success. What would you say to those interested in a career in arts management? What would you say are the key elements to having a successful career in this industry?
Well, a lot of it is on-the-job training because things change continually, just like the new electronic age. I'm really not abreast of it, so I have to continually learn what I need to do to keep the company going. You have to figure out what's needed to comply with all the requirements of having a company. A lot of people say they have a company. I say they have a group, because you don't have a company till you have your 501c, till you learn about all the things that you have to have for the government, for reporting. But I think if you take an arts and men course, I think you have some idea, especially with accounting. You have to know your accounting. And I knew nothing about accounting. I didn't know how to read a financial statement, so you really have to learn a lot.
Okay. Wow. So besides founding your company, you also created the International Association of Blacks in Dance, as well as the Conference of Black Dance Companies. Can you tell me a little bit about that and how that started?
Well, I got a grant for what they call artistic development. And I'm like, what am I going to do with this $5,000? So I said, there are lots of dance companies, I'm sure, that I don't know about who try to do what I'm doing. Maybe if we got together, we would figure out a way to better our companies. And I thought it would be about 5 or 6 women or somebody from around the country. We'd sit around my kitchen table. The first gathering I had, 60 people showed up, and I'm like, wow, There are lots of people that want to work with me or will share with me or who want to better their companies. So we had our first meeting at the University of the Arts, and then they said, we need to do this again. So here we are this year celebrating 25 years of the conference. 25 years of the association and 28 years of the conference. So we're still trying to figure it out, trying to keep our companies working. We've traveled to almost every city in the state having our conference. We've traveled from coast to coast. We've been to Canada. So it still continues.
Okay. So it's good. It's constant work.
Yeah, it's always work.
Okay.
I think people think that if you put dancers on stage, that's a company. But it's more to it than that.
Okay. And what are some of the main responsibilities of your position being founder and artistic director?
My main responsibility is making payroll every week, I think, and picking good choreographers and picking great dancers. When I started the company, everybody was from my dancing school, everybody was from Philadelphia. Now I have dancers from all over the world. In fact, one of my dancers I had to just send home to Canada because she wasn't well, she was sick. So you never know. I have a dancer from Nicaragua. I audition by number, not by where you're from any longer. I'm looking for good dancers.
Okay, okay. And that leads into my next question. What are the qualities that you look for when you're hiring your staff or talent?
Well, other than being well-trained, I think we're in the immediate era where dancers think you can get your leg up high, you can do 3 turns, that's all you need to do. No, I need dancers who are trained classically, who are trained because discipline-wise, they have to know all the responsibilities of the job. They have to have the ability to learn many different routines or ballets. And so when we have auditions, I may have 60 people in the room and I got to hire one dancer. So I look for somebody, I say it's magic, somebody your eyes go to, you see, in the group, they're hungry, they love to dance, sometimes I'm looking for somebody of a certain size too, because I need to match up 2 tall girls or I need 2 short girls and one left. And I don't want just one short girl, so I got to hire another one. But that short girl has to have something special.
And so who were some of your role models or who inspired you to follow your dream?
I think the person that inspired me most was Katherine Dunham. I saw her when I was a youngster. I didn't realize, then the impact that she would have on my life until I met her personally. And I just live by what she says. She said to me, Joan, just do what you do. Don't worry about what others are doing. And so, even now with the trend of competitions, everybody wants to know, is my school doing competitions? And I say no. I don't worry about it because I just do what I do.
So you are considered a pioneer, you're considered an innovator, an entrepreneur, several things.
I just need a horse and wagon now.
You've made so many contributions to the performing arts community. In 2013, you received the National Medal of Arts awarded by President Obama at the White House. Can you tell us what that experience was like?
Well, when I got the call, we were on our way to Chile. And when they called and asked me, was I going to be available? I said, no, I'm going to be in Chile. They said, no, I think you need to be in Washington. I'm like, I can't be there. So when it all boiled down that what it was, I sent the dancers on to Chile and I ended up at the White House. But it was so programmed that, you were always doing what you were told. So there was not a moment where you could just relax and enjoy it. And then I had to dash right after the ceremony, get a plane to Chile. So I was enthusiastic and excited. But I was worried about, was I going to be correct? They said, go in front of but don't go in front of him, go behind him. And he's pulling you in front of him, and I'm trying to get behind him. And then, you had to just be appropriate, I guess. It was just, the thrill happened after I was out of it. Like, wow, I was with the first African-American president. And he's fabulous, I was with Obama, So on the plane, I was like, wow. But while I was there, I was like, okay, what next?
Right.
Yeah.
So with that, how do you balance all the roles that you play? As founder, you serve as a chair on many boards, you have been a professor. How do you manage all of that?
Well, yeah, I don't really think about it. I just do what do I have to do today, and I do that. And I don't have time to go into my ego, because there's always something that you have to overcome. There's always a challenge. If the challenge is that a dancer is sick and you got to change the choreography, or you don't have enough money, or your board members resigned, or, all those things are always a challenge. So that keeps you humble.
Okay. So Philadelphia has made its home at the Perlman Theater and the Kimmel Center. From where you started with your vision to break down social barriers for African American dancers, to now people from all over come and see your work. How does that feel to be on the Avenue of the Arts, making its home at Philadelphia at Kimmel Center?
Well, when I first moved to the Kimmel Center, I thought it would make a difference in my life. I thought it would make a difference in my funding. I thought it would make a difference in my marketing and all the things, hey, wow, I'm here. But you never have arrived, and you're still a black dance company in the eyes of the city. You're in the eyes of the funders. So it's a job. It's a job to do what we do. Even the people sometimes at the Kimmel aren't sure that we're doing what we should be doing, or what they think we should be doing. So I keep remembering, just do what you do.
You've been doing it for a long time. You do it very well.
I keep trying.
So what are some of your short-term or long-term goals for Philadelphia?
For Philadelphia, I just want to make sure it's sustainable, that whatever happens, that I can pay my dancers. They are talking about succession, and I'm talking about next week. So my long-term goals are to keep the company in a position where the dancers can be secure in their jobs. We are one of the few companies where dancers have 52-week contracts. Most of the contracts are 30, 36 weeks. A couple of times I had the later dancers off and say, you have to go on unemployment till I can get some money. I don't want that to happen. I would like to sit on the porch and play jacks with my grandkids. My dance school, I think my daughters, they do a good job of keeping that going. But I just want to worry about next week.
Right. And that was my next question. What's next for Miss Joan? Or is there anything that you would like to do that you haven't done?
I don't think so. Okay. I don't think there's something I haven't done.
Okay.
Because I had a career of dancing, traveling around with the then popular stars of my era, Sammy Davis, Pearl Bailey. And then when I decided to have a dance school, it worked. It took a lot of work. Having a dance company. Now I have 3 companies, 2 dance schools, and I'm here. I just hope to have good health and good sense, so that I can continue to do what I do.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Ms. Myers Brown, for meeting with us today. I'm sure our viewers are going to be so inspired and enlightened by your story. And thank you all for watching as well.